I dropped out of high school. I don't have a college degree, but I met my husband at 18 years old and he was 22. When we met, we just decided that we were going to go into the entrepreneurship world. I really didn't know what that was going to entail. So we said, well, let's go for it. We had lots of ups and downs. It was not easy. I went back to school just to get some technical degree and I went to get ultrasound. During those journeys, we still said we want to be entrepreneur. We loved real estate. We saw that every, millionaire or billionaire we saw was all because of real estate. We really didn't know what that entailed, but we said one day we need to be able to get into real estate. We opened up a business, in 1995 around there that was about leasing brokerage. And we just had the mindset at that point. There was no other choice. We needed to make something happen. We wanted to be our own business. And this was a chance to do it. And in 2019, we were able to sell our portion of this business for $1 billion evaluation. In 2003, with some of the money that we were making from this company, we ventured into real estate. We went into the condo conversion. We would buy these apartment buildings, convert them into condos, and sell them individually. And we then learned what multifamily business was and having that cash flow on a monthly basis to be able to survive and pay expenses. In 2006, we said we have to put everybody back in as a tenant so that we could receive, rent so that we could pay for these expenses. So in 2011, we got back in the game, knowing exactly what we did wrong and what we learned about the multifamily. And we went in 2011 buying single family homes and multifamily, small garden multifamily apartments. And today, now that's, 2011, we have changed our core values. We have changed our investment strategies many times throughout this course. And today we have probably about 2,300 doors that total up about 10 to 12 buildings. Nothing is easy. Everything is a hurdle. You're going to have to run into blocks and go into ditches and all this stuff. But learning how to get out of it and persevere is where the outcome really is. Your journey, your empire is there. And we take those hurdles or those mistakes or those fallings as a lesson so that we know, okay, we did this and it didn't work. How do we do this all over again so that we could do it better and try to see if we could get there? And if you fail again, but you didn't do the same mistakes, hey, that's a lesson. That's great. Let's now try it again. And we always, our tenacity and our perseverance will never end. That's just what keeps us and what's gotten us to this empire that we've been able to create in today. Years ago, we started knowing what mentors were all about, and we hired coaches and stuff like that, but later on in our lives, not at the beginning at all. The first, 15 years, we had no clue what that was. We would read books, we would listen to things, but that's as far it went in our mentoring life because we didn't know we could hire it. And at that time, we couldn't afford it even if we wanted to. We just learned things, research. Back then it was the newspaper, just trying to get things that we wanted to do and try to see who had done it and had succeeded and follow those, guidelines or whatever we would read. But yeah, we did it all on our own, just our own mindset of knowing that we did not want to do what our parents did and that we didn't want to be somebody else's employees. We wanted to be the employer. If you do it right and you understand it, you're able to really create generational wealth. As we started learning our business on our finance company and we understood business, we would research real estate and what it was. And we said, okay, we're going to do this. So like in 2003, we had enough cash saved, what we call stack and rack. You stack your money to rack it into an investment. So when we had enough of that stack, we said, okay, we're going to get into real estate. Let's try this out. We went in blindly, not knowing nothing about how to invest and how you were going to create generational wealth with real estate, right? We just thought it was going to happen magically. Like a lot of people thought, oh, you have money, you could put it in there, or have no money and get on real estate, which is not the truth. So when we got in it in 2003, like I told you, and we struggled because of the financial crisis, we learned a mistake that we went into an asset class that we did not understand. And we almost lost all of our money that we worked so hard for. A heartbeat of investing in real estate, at least in multifamily, is the management. Whether you're doing it or a third-party management is doing it, it's the heartbeat of the business. We started getting into development. We have 3 development projects going on right now. We have one in Orlando, or Reno. It's a city out in Orlando. And that one is in the 200 plus units. It's a Class A with a multi-use, which we've never done multi-use, but the city required it. So this is going to be first ground up with multi-use. So it's exciting also. And then we have one in Tennessee that we actually own this property. 7 years ago, we bought it. So we're very excited. We're going to knock down the building because it's a very, very old building and it was done for student housing. So they're only studios. So we're going to knock down this building and create our 3rd ground up project. So you know what? Right now, that's what we're consulting with multi-use developers and realtors that deal with the storefronts. And we're trying to see in the area what is their needing of for the multi-use, because, you know, these multi-use, sometimes you get them and it struggles because either the parking lot is too tight because you already have the tenants that live there. So parking space is kind of like a struggle. Some businesses don't want to be in apartment buildings. Others love it. So we're now consulting, but we're thinking about some healthy place for like a eatery type of thing, not too huge of a restaurant. We don't know if a small bank would like to be there. Dry cleaners we were thinking about. So we're right now 100% don't know what it's going to be, but that's what we're working on at the present time. And it's kind of stressful for us because we've never done it. We hired a consultant so that they could give us their best advice. And then we, from there, study it and then evaluate what we feel is right. Because we also know how to run businesses. So we're like, we'll take their advice, we'll put our, team together, and then we'll collaborate and come out with the best outcome for that building. At the present time, it just makes more sense to develop ground up multifamily than it is buying existing. It just makes more sense. When you're purchasing buildings today, you're having to buy at a 2 to 4 cap rate. And you're like, really? And when you underwrite to develop a new deal, we're writing at a 6 to 8. So we're like, wait, so again, like we had talked about in the green room, it does have pros and cons. And, if you get into development, ground up buildings, you have 3 years that you're receiving 0 cash flow and you're having to implement cash into the deal for the first 3 years. So if you don't have enough cash flow from other investments to carry you over, you really can't do it. So that's one of the reasons why we never even looked at it, because we just didn't have sufficient cash flow to keep us afloat to develop. Now, luckily, in the stage that we are, we have enough cash flow from our other investments that could keep us afloat for the 3 years. And then we have this amazing building that'll be, cash flowing way better than all the other deals. So we have to be very careful at the very beginning. But now we've gotten to a stage that we are going to be doing way more developments because it just makes more sense on the cash flow return for our investment. Having the tenacity, having goals to be able to get there. I always love to tell everybody, have a huge, huge goal, but have stepping stones to get there. If you really take this and you create a bulletproof project to get to your goals, and you do it stages by stages, and you have tenacity, perseverance, and learn from your failures instead of getting scared from your failures, you will get there. And I'm not telling you you're going to get there one day, but you will get there if you follow your projections to get to your goals. But be focused, have perseverance, and don't let no outside noise get in your way.